Good morning. My name is Berkeley Bennett, and I'm the commander of the Hampton's American Legion Post 35. And on behalf of Post 35, I would like to thank each of you for joining us this morning to honor our nation's fallen heroes. At this time, I would like to invite Reverend Mike Gelsomini of the United Church of Christ of Northampton to lead us in an invocation. Please bow your heads.
Let us be together in the spirit of prayer. Holy One, we gather this morning to remember those who are resting in your peace, those who have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we can enjoy the freedoms we have today. This is a special and a sacred time, a time filled with honor, respect, and reverence. It is a time not only to remember those men and women who have died, but to remember the families that they have left behind. Fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, friends, and loved ones. They are all part of that sacrifice. Comfort them, O God. Wipe away their tears and grant them peace. Holy One, bless our time together this morning and make it holy. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Mike. At this time, we will have the national anthem played by the Winnicott High School Band under the direction of Kenneth Martin. Detail, attend, hut, present, arms. Order, arms. A Winnicott High School Band. At this time, I'd like our veterans to be recognized. Will our Army veterans please raise your hands? Army. Navy veterans. Marine Corps. Coast Guard. United States Air Force. United States Space Force. Merchant Mariners, wartime Merchant Mariners. And our first responders are police and firefighters. Will our Korean War or Korean era veterans please raise your hands and be recognized? Korean War. Vietnam. Conflicts from 1975 to 1991. Operation Desert Storm. Operations Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, and Freedom Sentinel. And last but not least, the members of our greatest generation are World War II veterans. Many years ago, when my daughters were about 9 and 11, I had the opportunity to take them on a trip to Pensacola, Florida, and while we were there, we visited the Naval Aviation Museum at the Pensacola Naval Air Station. We walked around and viewed the many displays at the museum, and then we stopped at a section that commemorated the Battle of Midway. Midway was a pivotal naval battle of World War II that took place 80 years ago next week in the Pacific Ocean, about 1,300 miles northwest of Hawaii. It was fought 6 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor, where the Japanese sank or damaged many ships of our Pacific Fleet. Luckily, our aircraft carriers were at sea that Sunday morning and not in Pearl Harbor, so they were not damaged in the attack. But in June of 1942, the Japanese wanted to lure the Americans into a trap and knock out our carriers and cut the supply lines between the United States and Australia. One of the many Navy squadrons that took part in this epic battle was Torpedo Squadron 8, VT-8, attached to the aircraft carrier USS Hornet. On the wall at the museum exhibit was a picture of Lieutenant Commander John Waldron, the commanding officer of the squadron. The exhibit explained that on the night before the battle, he told these men these words, and I quote, "My greatest hope is that we encounter a favorable tactical situation. But if we don't, and worse comes to worse, I want each one of us to do his utmost to destroy our enemies. If there's only one plane left to make that final run, I want that man to go in and get a hit. May God be with us all. Good luck, happy landings, and give him hell." Unquote. The next day, June 4th, 1942, they flew off the Hornet to strike the Japanese fleet. Many of the squadron's pilots were rookie ensigns just out of flight school, and they had never even carried a torpedo on an airplane before, much less dropped one on a target. Flying the slow and obsolete TBD Devastator torpedo bomber, they were attacked by swarms of Japanese fighters and encountered heavy anti-aircraft fire. But in spite of all of this, they courageously continued their torpedo runs on the Japanese carriers. In the end, of the 15 airplanes in the squadron, all were shot down, and of the 30 pilots and air crewmen, 29 were killed, and only one pilot, Ensign George Gay, survived. I was getting all choked up as I was telling this story to my girls, and I looked at my daughters and noticed that they had tears in their eyes. It's an emotional story, one of brave young men giving everything they have in the face of almost certain death. I wanted to reinforce the lesson to my daughters that scores of men and women fought and died for this country, and that these men of VT-8 were not born heroes. They were just ordinary people like the rest of us who took action when the time called for it. They had a mission to go out and attack the enemy, so they gathered every ounce of courage and did their duty for our country. Why did they do it, you might ask? They did it because they knew they had to try to stop the Japanese fleet. Otherwise, the odds were that the Japanese would sink our carriers and America could very well lose the war. They also did it for their squadron mates, what today we would call our battle buddies, who were their fellow airmen and friends all counting on each other to do their job as a team. But they did not die in vain. Because of their bravery and sacrifice, other American carrier-based bombers were able to successfully hit and sink all the Japanese carriers, giving our Navy a great victory, one that helped turn the tide of the war in the Pacific. The heroism of the men of VT-8 is part of our heritage and the great legacy of our American military. There are scores of these stories, from Lexington and Concord during the Revolution to the gates of the Kabul airport in Afghanistan just last August. The sacrifices of our servicemen and women throughout the years have made a tremendous difference. And because of them, we in the United States and many countries throughout the world are able to enjoy stability, peace, and freedom. We as a people need to keep retelling these stories to teach our children that our freedom is not to be taken for granted, and that sometimes it takes fighting and dying to keep it. These stories of heroism help to inspire our young people, giving them role models that they can look up to, and who can help guide them when things get rough or when hard decisions have to be made. Although today, Memorial Day, we remember our military heroes, you don't have to attack a Japanese task force or parachute behind enemy lines to be a hero. Our heroes can also be our first responders, the police and firefighters who put their lives on the line every day to protect us here in our own hometown. It can be our teachers and school staff who work hard every day to make a difference in the lives of our students. You kids can be heroes. Perhaps when you stand up for a kid in your school who's being bullied or made fun of because he or she is a little different, or because of the color of their skin, or because of their religious or ethnic background. If you think about it, being a hero isn't just about bravery, but it's about putting the well-being of other people ahead of your own and showing empathy and compassion for others. Talking about our heroes not only keeps their memories alive, but also helps us to aspire to be the best we can be. Lastly, on Memorial Day, as we honor our military heroes, those who gave their lives for our country, let us pause to remember that when the moment came, they were ordinary people inspired to do extraordinary things. Thank you. Now, this is the part of the program where we generally have a guest speaker. And our guest speaker this morning was Chief Master Sergeant Alex Reno, United States Air Force Reserve, who's also the Deputy Chief of Police in Hampton. Well, to make a long story short, he called me yesterday afternoon and said, "Burke, I have tested positive for COVID." So he is in isolation. And actually, many of our invited participants for our ceremonies today also, are under the weather, either with COVID or influenza. And I'm sure many of you at home have family members who are not feeling all that great. So I just want to wish everybody well and hope that everybody gets well soon. At this time, we have a special presentation from Boy Scouts from Troop 162 from the Northampton School. Can I have Wyatt Faley, Corbin Garofalo, and Max Pissarro please come forward?
Hello everyone, my name is Corbin Garofalo. I'm here to share that today the Northampton School has a surprise for someone whose name is well known around our town. We have a special gift for Mr. Joe Cutt. As many of you know, Mr. Joe Cutt is a Navy veteran who served in Vietnam. He was stationed on a landing ship tank which delivered supplies and equipment to the Marines and soldiers during the war. We are very thankful for his service. Northampton School selected Mr. Cutt for this gift for many reasons. For example, his mission to lifelong commitment to caring for veterans and ensuring that they get the support they need and appreciation they deserve.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wyatt Faley. I'm part of Troop 162. Dear Mr. Cutt, I would love to thank you for being such a great part of this community. Even through the rough times of COVID and the war in Ukraine, you have always been there with your big helping hand and made sure we, the people of Northampton, are making it through this together. I don't think any one person here in Northampton can thank you enough. I can't tell you how honored I am today to give you this speech, how you are a great influence for this town and have contributed to Northampton with your awesome subs, obviously, and your big heart. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Max Passero. I'm a Boy Scout in Troop 162. Mr. Cutt, you give us students of Northampton School a fun place to go for snacks and food after school. On behalf of the students of Northampton School, thank you for all the wonderful times and memories you have provided us. You gave me and my friend a summer job that I still work at today. When snow was covering the grass I mowed, you let me shovel. Personally, I want to thank you for the opportunities you have given me at the age of 12. Because of all these things, Mr. Cutt, we would like you to come up here so that we may present to you this retired flag of Northampton School. Thank you for your service to our community.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Joe, would you like to say a few words? We have time? Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Cutt. The mayor of Northampton. Is Mike Tully here? At this time, the Northampton School Student Choir, under the direction of Mary Oliver, will play a musical selection.
Oh, beautiful for spacious for amber waves of grace, for purple mountain majesties above the curtain place. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with flower from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful fourth nation that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with flowers, shining seas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the third graders from the Northampton School under the direction of Mary Oliver. At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Mike Gelsomini to lead us in a benediction. Please bow your heads.
God, we give you thanks for this time set apart this time of remembering and honoring. May it not end here. May we not take our freedoms for granted. Our freedom to worship you in our own ways. Our freedom to assemble. Our freedom of speech. And as we are sitting out at our barbecues later today, or as we're driving to the beach, may we remember those who made that possible. Not just today, but every day that we are free. When we think of those that we have lost and the sacrifices that they have made, may it prompt us to work towards ways of peace, toward ways that will bring people and nations together, so that one day we may all live in peace as one. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Mike. At this time, a wreath will be placed by Chief Petty Officer Donald Stebbins, United States Navy, retired. Detail, attend, hut! At this time, we will read a list of conflicts involving the United States of America, and a bell will be tolled by Petty Officer Joe Cutt, United States Navy, Vietnam. The Civil War, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, America's wars and conflicts from 1975 to 1992. Operation Desert Storm. Operations Iraqi Freedom. Operation Enduring Freedom. Operation Freedom Sentinel. Detail, attend, hut. Present, arms. Firing party, salute the fallen.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Order, arms.
Order, arm. Parade, rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this morning's ceremony. I'd like to thank Reverend Gelsomini, Ken Martin, and Winnicott High School Band, Mary Oliver and the Northampton third graders, Boy Scout Troop 162, and specifically Scouts Faley, Garofalo, and Pissarro, along with Rebecca Carlson and Stuart Spooner of the Northampton School. Thanks to Don Stebbins. Thanks to Northampton's own Joe Cut. Thank you to the Post 35 Firing Detail and Color Guard. Thanks to our state reps, Northampton Selectmen, Town Manager, and other dignitaries. Thanks to Chief Moan in the Northampton Police Department, and Chief LaJoy, the Northampton Fire Department. Special thank you to all our vets. This concludes our ceremony this morning. There'll be a parade in Hampton at 11:30, followed by our High Street Cemetery service. I just want to end by saying this is an extraordinary crowd. This heartens us all to see it, all of us veterans, those of us here at Post 35. Remember that we do have a Veterans Day program on November 11th. We'd like to see many of you here. But at the very least, we'd like to see you all here next year, Memorial Day 2023. Thank you. May God bless and keep our fallen heroes. God bless and protect the servicemen and women of our armed forces. And God bless the United States of America. Good job, guys.